Hi parents, this is Sally from Occupational Therapy Maine. Today I just wanted to give you a quick orientation about our new web page in a resource website that was just launched yesterday. So when you log in, this would be your front page. Um, to your left, you will see a menu. You go to the occupational therapy uh, main and satellite location, the one that I just highlighted. And then if you click on that link, if I can get it to work, let's see here, my pointer. Yes, here we go. So the way I did this web page, we have videos and slides and handouts tab. And the idea is to have the material mirrored. In other words, what you see in videos, you will also see in slides and handouts. And that is considering that maybe some of the families, they don't have access to internet for downloading videos, so downloading handouts or viewing handouts will be less demanding on their data. So that is sort of the idea behind having the mirror between video and slides and handouts. So if you go to any of these two pages, so let's say I'm going to go to videos, you'll see that I've divided up into the big areas that OT is involved with in the school. Except obviously for that coronavirus one. The idea behind this one is to add different resources, whether for parents, mental health resources, balancing work and life, how to sort of figure out working from home and those boundaries between work and home life demands. I also have any sort of social stories, how to explain coronavirus to the kids, and so on. So if I go to the slides and handouts, you'll also see more details. So I have the handouts about working from home, coping with stress, helping your children cope with the changes, hand washing, and so on. So these are kind of very special topics that we don't typically deal with. And then we go with back to videos in that page again. The next you'll see life skills and daily routines. So that is pretty much all life skills you need to acquire to kind of function in your basic activities of daily living. So it could be anything from dressing, toileting, showering, hygiene, you name it. So these are your functional skills. So already I do have a couple of videos on how to build a routine. Now you have to establish a new routine with the extended time at home. So I have some resources to where to find some of the free visuals to build your schedule, what kind of activities you need to build the schedule, and especially to kind of make it sensory rich, because a lot of our kids at school need that extra sensory support. So you could have there's information on that too. You'll find information in the handouts about the sort of what is expected for each age group to be, and what kind of things they need to be independent at. And that is just to give you a quick reference point as what are some of the things you can focus on while you're at home, some of those skills that you can focus on at home. But also it helps that we don't kind of have high expectations when developmentally the kid is not ready to learn a particular skill. And then next, so fine motor skills. So in this section, I'll have information related to pencil grasp, scissors skills, the different activities you could do at home to build those printing skills and hand manipulation and so on. There's also information about what kind of the developmental milestones that you need to look for, or the red flags that you need to be aware of. So when you're doing any fine motor activities at home, yes, you're not an occupational therapist, yes, you're not taking the same level of data, but at least you can catch those big red flags, and then you can reach out to us if you notice something that really is concerning. And then the next one is the competent eater skills. So this area relates to your concerns about picky eating. But I chose to name it this way because I don't want to just focus on the problem. I also want to focus on what is it that we're trying to get to by our strategies. What does competent eating look like? So that's where I'm starting by giving us that goal, that final destination that we need to go to with our therapy. And I will be adding different resources and material. Again, it's still on the general side, but it would help with continuing to expose the children to different consistencies and textures and things like that. So at least we're not regressing in our development and tolerance to the different foods. Next, I have sensory integration. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of our kids at school, they have sensory processing challenges. So what I am planning to do here, any information relating to what are some of the red flags as a parent that you need to look out for that would suggest potentially an issue with sensory processing. And if that's the case, and if we already know that, for example, a kid is sensitive to loud sounds, or let's say lights, certain lights and things like that, then what are some of the strategies that we could use to help with that sensory processing issues? Last but not least, I do have one section on emotion regulation. And the idea is to help you as a parent to help the child to get control of their emotions one more time. So a lot of the meltdowns and the tantrums and the challenging behavior actually masks a child lack of skill, a certain skill that the child cannot do. So, for example, a child who has difficulty transitioning from one task to another may throw a tantrum. They may look as they're defiant, they don't listen, etc. But at the bottom of this, there's also a skill that is lacking, and that's I don't know how to do stop and start another activity. I don't know how to do that transition, and it's so overwhelming, and now I can't control my emotions. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do, is equip the child with these skills to be able to adapt to those very overwhelming and negative emotions, that they can deal with it in a healthy way, and then they can communicate with you that they're having a hard time, but again, in a healthy way. So that's the idea behind emotional regulation. So some of the things we'll look at is how to help the child to identify different emotions, name different emotions, but also how to identify their own emotional state. Um, and then what are some of the strategies that the child can use, whether with the adult assisting them, or eventually on their own, by just recognizing when I'm angry, this is what I do. So that's the idea again behind emotional regulation. So as I said, each week we will be updating the website, and then I'll be sending an email as to what are the things that I added. And this way, if there's something that really catches your attention, you can also go and check it out. The other thing too is it would be really helpful if you think there's a topic that you really want to get some information on. It's not necessarily topic about your child, but a general question. So let me give you an example, the example of the transition. So I want more information on the website about help with transitions. Now this is general enough that I could have material on that, and it probably will help many families, not just the one family. So, but this way at least I know which topics are most concerning for the parents, and I'm not like doing my own agenda while all the parents are kind of thinking about something else is more important. So just a way to try and make it a little bit more relevant to your daily, concerns or challenges or so on. The other thing too is if the material is hard to understand, let's say due to language barrier, please email me, because then we can see a way, an alternative way, whether it's by translating it or arranging some online time where we could go in more details about what that means. And finally, if you are having hard time accessing the website because you don't have regular access to devices, or your internet data usage is very limited and you're trying to be very conservative, and downloading videos or handouts or viewing them is just burdens your data plan, there is the possibility that we could try and print out some of that, at least the ones in the handout formats, and we can try and mail it out to the family. But this is kind of the for the special circumstances that we are in. But definitely reach out for us, whether to the classroom teacher or by emailing me and letting me know that you're having difficulty using the website and you would need some sort of an alternative way of communicating the information that we're adding to the website. So I hope you found this helpful, and we will touch base later. Thank you, guys.